Welcome to another episode on Be Inspired with me, Olabode.
Sometimes you are not even the owner of a vision.
Right.
It's somebody else who will just identify it for you. The reality is that when you save nothing, you will have nothing. It's very easy to lose other people's money. But when your own resource is inside what you are managing, the least you will do is to protect the one that is yours. The only way you can actually find help is to have helped yourself in the little way that you can. Don't leave your job because other people are leaving their jobs. It's a major decision to take, and it's not a decision that you take on the basis that is stupid. Be sure that you are ready.
That voluntary job that you did as a treasurer in the company actually helped you to see yourself in a bigger form. Is that what you're trying to say?
A great deal.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode on Be Inspired with me, Olabode. This series focuses on managing a full-time job and growing side businesses. Interestingly, we're taking it a little further. My guest today is Babatopes Olabode, who retired from a multinational oil and gas company in 2017 at the age of 48 after 24 years of service as an accountant. He is a former treasurer and member of Board of Trustees, Chevron Employee Multipurpose and Credit Society Limited. He's now an investment consultant with HFS Capital Nigeria Limited, the CEO of Utrade Asset Management Company Limited, a facilitator with the Faith Foundation, a NGO. He loved teaching mathematics and finance, editing and writing poems and prose. Welcome so much, sir. Thank you so much for coming to my show. I'm so happy to have you here. So I could say your career involved around accountancy. What do you find so interesting about it?
When you talk about my career revolving around accountancy, I'm not going to tell you that I loved accounting and that was why I went into it. I guess it was the option that was available to me, and it kind of agreed with the area of knowledge that I had, and that at some point I became really very good in calculations. I mean, that's in terms of mathematics. And when I was to think about what course to go for, I could have gone for engineering. I could have gone to any other course that had mathematics inside. But then accounting looked like a very good option for me. I guess there was history behind how I ended up that way, which is not what we need to go into at this time.
That's so interesting. So we now go back to your previous job. You retire at 48 and the retirement is actually 60.
Okay, retirement is 60, but there's no rule that says you must stay until you are 60. So I never intended staying till 60 in my original plan. Yeah. My plan was to stay till about age 52. And I actually did have it in mind that if there were opportunities along the line to exit, that I will go. I'm not going to tell you that leaving was a smooth ride for me. Mm-hmm. I guess it's probably normal for everyone leaving employment, especially before 60, to have the usual misgivings in terms of, I don't know what the new environment will look like and all that. But one thing was sure, and that was that as of the time I was leaving, I was already tired of the routine involved in the type of work I was doing. And I'll also tell you that I wouldn't say that I had a fantastic career growth in the system. So in terms of my career in the system, it got to a point where I found that going was a better option for me, especially in terms of the fact that in my original plan, I already felt that I will go definitely earlier than 60. Wow. Only that I couldn't see at what point exactly it will happen. So when the opportunity arose, I just seized the opportunity and I left.
So that would take me to our next question. But before that, we have to take a short break. See you soon. How do you start selling lip balm?
I just decided to try how to make the lip balm because I was interested.
Wow.
Normally, I like watching stuff then doing them. So it's kind of normal.
So who helped you to buy those ingredients to make the lip balm?
My mom and dad.
Let me see. Wow, it smells so nice.
I want to open a shop in ShopRite and sell there.
What are the advice that you give other kids?
You have to be brave, hardworking, and very intelligent to be able to do something like this, because I actually burnt myself trying to make this.
How?
My hand here.
Sorry, Mama.
Coming soon on Be Inspired with Umi Olabode.
Welcome back on Be Inspired with Umi Olabode. Does it mean that you get bored at some point before you now decided that, okay, I think I need to step out at 48?
One thing is real, and that's that in some professions, you find yourself doing essentially the same thing month in, month out. So the routine itself could become somewhat boring. So I believe that along the line, at different times, I found myself being bored, actually. So it would then be a matter of, would you continue to endure it because you felt that the remuneration was good, or that you need to find life? I mean, there's a difference between making money and that of living your life. So I kept having struggle around the fact that I didn't feel I was really getting the much I wanted out of life. So my wife did know that it got to a point where going to office became somehow burdensome for me. So I wasn't enjoying it any longer. So I knew that my days were numbered. So yes, some works have this, I don't know, maybe a number of professions actually have this routine nature. Every month you find yourself being involved in, okay, accounts close and all that. But quite honestly, at the point of exit, I would say that was the best point in terms of the years I spent. I mean, I ended up in a compliance section. And the type of work I had to do there, I really found very interesting and quite agreeable with who I am in terms of I'm a process person. I'm more of a compliance person, actually. When you talk about controls, when you talk in terms of things must be done properly, there must be procedure, there must be orderliness, there must be structure and all that. And of course, some trainings, I mean, we have some elements of training in the whole process. I really enjoyed the last, years that I spent. In fact, even when I told my manager then that I was going, it was like, let's just stay back and let's keep having, fun in this job, because I'll tell you, it was perhaps I think that was the best period of my entire career in the system. But in spite of that, I knew that it was time for me to go. I mean, it's just not enough. I mean, don't just become laid back in Zion just because you felt that everything looked okay. There was still the question of where exactly was my life heading to? And
so that actually take me to the next question. So you left, and then what was your plan? How did Utre come into play?
It's not all the time that things are as clear as we want them to be. I would not even tell you that there was ever a time when I was in employment that I felt that I would become an entrepreneur. No, because I didn't even see it in my personality. But I've had some experiences over the years now that have now taught me that about this common phrase, never say never. So don't ever be so hard on yourself as to think that some things are beyond you, that you cannot do them. So no, I didn't have a plan in terms of setting up a company. I guess the plan was there. I think there was the invisible hand of God guiding me in the process. For example, I became treasurer to the cooperative, and that wasn't my plan. I never liked politics. I never liked contesting for any position. I just sat down on my own, and some people just approached me and felt that I was fit for the job. I even tried to actually direct them to choose someone else I felt was in the treasury line and all that. But they insisted that they wanted me, and they knew why they wanted me. So I ended up there. And the 2 years I spent there, those 2 years were like, gave me the opportunity to do what I had been doing for myself. It was as if that becoming the treasurer gave me a bigger platform to practice essentially the same thing I had been doing for myself. But that's in terms of managing my own resources, managing my own money and all that. So now bringing the same principle to the bigger environment, I was able to make the type of return that no one before me had ever made. And that kind of was, it made me a bit more popular in the system. I would say that many people became aware of my presence in that system, who did not even know me before I became treasurer. And I think the foundation for what I'm doing now was laid at that time. But like I said, it wasn't something I planned. It's just that something happened that kind of made clearer the vision. It wasn't my vision. It wasn't something I won't tell you I saw it. But in what I was doing, what I was to do later was already inside.
So meaning that voluntary job that you did as a treasurer in the company actually helped you to see yourself in a bigger form. Is that what you're trying to say?
A great deal. A great deal. Before that even gave me the platform that I needed to start the business that I'm running now. So
good. So how do you now start the whole trade?
Okay, there was the informal aspect. You don't start a business by just all of a sudden looking for money and for the space and all that. This whole idea, it's so simple in the sense that you just find yourself having a passion for having a kind of a mindset that says money should not be kept idle, that money multiplies if you know how to handle it. And also from the angle that if it takes you 30 days to earn a salary, why is it that by the time you collect the money, you don't mind what happens to it? Do you really ask yourself that, okay, having labored for 30 days, that if I have surplus, where does it go? Is there a way I can multiply that money in my hand that will ensure that somewhere along the line, some years down the line, I'll be able to retire faster than I would if I don't manage what is in my hand? So I'd always try to look at, okay, what surplus do I have and where can I place it? What can it yield? So by the time I now became the treasurer, I was just able to practice, like I said, on a larger scale. So that idea in itself was what I had this passion of not just doing it for myself, but also helping the people within the company, as in colleagues, not necessarily those in my department, even those in other departments, those I happen to be, to have relationship with in terms of the work, in terms of friendship and all that. I found many instances where I will tell some people that, where did you put your surplus? They will tell me they don't do anything about it. They will tell me they didn't do anything about it. Just say, okay, you know what? During the lunchtime, I will take you to Union Bank. Union Bank is just across the road from the office. That I will take you there, I will help you complete the form, and you would actually go ahead and do that investment that will give you some returns. Some people will still forget, and I will be the one to call them. Where are you? Somebody will tell me, I'm in the cafeteria. I'll say, okay, the moment you finish there, we are going to that place that we agreed we will go. I will take them down there. I will complete the form for them. I will do all I needed to do to ensure that that money was placed and I started yielding. So I guess in the process of helping different people that way, a number of people became my friends. And it's that process that one or two people noticed in me, and it was like I said, sometimes you are not even the owner of a vision.
Right.
It's somebody else who will just identify it for you. So somebody just said, it appears you just like this, helping people to make more money out of the money they have. That could be a line of business. And that got me thinking that, okay, so does it mean that people can pay for that service? And interestingly, the woman who suggested that to me, that's actually Mrs. Soji Oyawoye, started this whole idea. She was even ready to pay me to help. I was helping her for free, but having identified that skill, that possibility, she was even ready to pay me to do it for her. And that's how I found a number of people that, from the office, those who are retired, those who are still in employment, they all readily came to me and said, okay, help us manage this money. And that's how this whole idea started.
What a mistake. I wouldn't have done it. I would have stepped back. Have you ever felt that way at any point in your life since you left your full-time job, that I should have stepped back?
Not at all, because I knew I was tired before I left. I was already bored with the system. No regret of any kind. I will tell you that rather than have a regret, I will even say that I ought to have left earlier. But I think I left at the right time, because I suspect that if I had left earlier, it's possible that the vision wouldn't have been as clear as it is now.
Absolutely.
So no regret of any kind.
Wow, that's so nice. So when I read about your complaint, I realized that you guys have managed a whole lot of funds. And it doesn't come that easy, and I know that have a lot to do with your integrity. How do you take that?
I would say that's the capital with which I started, because I'm not going to tell you that there was this huge money that I pumped in. It's more of people entrusting their money into my hands. And I think I have a history behind that. I mean, I came from a polygamous setting. We are 15 in number. So for my own mother's side, we are 7. But then I was the one always staying in the shop back in my village. My mother had her own store. My father had his own medicine store, and they were just side by side, and I will be the one to manage the two. And my mother, I lost my father some years back, but my mother is still alive. My mother will always tell you that Tokwe would never allow the two money to mix. I had always known how to separate the two, and I would not let them mix up. And I think there has also been an aspect of me that I don't think I will ever get over, and that is that I'm very emotional in the area of how I handle people's things that come into my care. I don't feel comfortable having you put something in my care and you come back and I tell you that that thing is no longer there, that is no longer available. I would rather go and look for, if I happen to lose it, then I must find a way of getting it so that when you come, I'm not going to give you that excuse. So that's my own level. So the integrity thing for me, it's part of who I am. I'm particular about the quality of what I do. I'm particular about not wanting to hurt people, because I know that if you put something in my care and I miss it, even if the reason for missing it is really genuine, it wasn't out of carelessness, you will still suffer the loss as the owner. So I wouldn't want that to happen. So that's the level at which I take it. And it's also the reason why when I handle things that are in my care, I want to handle them in such a way that I want to handle them safely and ensuring that when you come back, you've met that item. Too often, people want reliable people. So yes, people brought their monies to me and they said I should manage the money for it. And it's on the strength of how I've behaved over time. I must tell you, I was just being myself. But what I've now found is that people are watching us. They are looking at every little detail of how we relate with them. And I will tell you today that too often people think that what you need to start a business is money. But I will tell you, it's not in all cases. There are times all you need is just for people to have that confidence in you, wherein they are able to entrust some things into your hands. And it is that thing that will actually enable you to take off. And the moment you take off and you, in the process, you also don't disappoint them, they'll keep coming. That also ensures repeat business.
Wow, thank you so much. So we're going to take a short break and I will be right back. Welcome back on Be Inspired with Olabode. So, Mr. Olabode, when you were talking about surplus, how people keep their surplus, there shouldn't be money being idle. I know you talk about that a lot. So how about for some people that earn little, how are they going to save it?
The reality is that when you save nothing, you will have nothing. And you will not know the power of saving a little out of that small money that you have until you actually start, and years down the line, you find that money multiplies. And I'll also tell you 2 instances of how saving something out of that little will help you out. The first one is this. When you go to a bank and say you want to take a loan, banks will typically ask you for your own counterpart funding. Let's say you want to take 1 million naira. They could ask you, you need to produce 30% of that money, 300,000. If you have 300,000, they will add their 700,000 and you have 1 million to start the business. But if you don't have 300,000, they are not going to give you the loan. Right. And what's the reason for that? The reason for that is because if they give you the entire 1 million, where is the commitment? It's very easy to lose other people's money. But when your own resource is inside what you are managing, the least you will do is to protect the one that is yours. So when you have a stake in what you are doing, it's possible that you fight tooth and nail to ensure that you don't lose it. The only way you can actually find help is to have helped yourself in the little way that you can. You have a load on the ground, a heavy load, and you are begging people to help you carry it, but you are not bending to carry it. It's when we see you bend that somebody else Maybe some will not. But you find someone who will be ready to bend with you and help you lift it up. But when you are not even making effort to do it at all because you have nothing to present, then who is going to help? Somewhere along the line, as you work harder and there is increase in your earning capacity, because you have already started that habit has formed, the tendency is for you to save even more and more. But if you never did it when it was small, it's possible that when it becomes big, you will still squander it because you will have an excuse for not saving.
That's a great advice, I might say. But for the final word, I really want you to give our viewers the final word. Like, a lot of people want to leave their full-time job and face the side business. What is your advice for them to go by?
Well, I would say that people should not be afraid. Don't leave your job because other people are leaving their jobs, because that would be a wrong reason for it. Don't leave your job because you are angry with somebody, because there could be many reasons why people could leave their jobs. It's a major decision to take, and it's not a decision that you take on the basis that is stupid. Be sure that you are ready. Now, I'm not going to tell you you have to be exactly clear about what you are going to do next, because that wasn't my experience. So maybe you will be lucky to be as lucky as I am. But I will say that if possible, try to be reasonably clear about what you are going into. Life is not just about yourself. You are supposed to be blessed, but it's even better to also become a blessing to other people. Because most of the time when we talk about leaving job, what people think about is, will I make as much money as I was making? Most of the time, it will not translate into more money. But I can assure you that there is life that is far bigger than the one that you have when you are in employment. Outside is more difficult, but if you find yourself within your passion, and that's one word that I haven't used yet, before you leave the job, please try to work on your passion, because inside your passion lies what you can likely convert into money. Talking about passion is actually something you do that, though you feel tired, you still look forward to continuing. There are so many things people do that other people don't like doing. So by all means, start working on it. And like I said, don't start with the idea that it must bring money. Some things you do will bring money. Other things you do will not bring money. But interestingly, if you do the one you do that doesn't bring money, the one you do that doesn't bring money may somewhere along the line change gradually, but now making way for the other thing that you have capability to do, but which you didn't know yet, but will only come in the process of doing the one you know to do. And eventually you'll find the one that will bring money. But again, I'll keep saying, maybe it won't bring so much money, but you will have life and you will be happy. Because in the end, it's about your life. It's about fulfillment. It's about being able to say, I mean, when people look at you, they will say, in so and so ways, you have touched their lives.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate everything you said. You are being sincere with everything you said from the beginning to this moment. I know you talk about passion, and there's something that you're actually living. You left what you were doing before. You were doing it for free, and then now you're making money from it. Thank you for watching. And I believe you learned a lot from Babatope's journey. It discussed two aspects that resonate with me: passion and integrity. Like I explained in my previous episode, that passion can never be overemphasized. Following your passion in life and doing what you love for a living won't feel like work for you. You will wake up with energy and enthusiasm to start another day pursuing something that you really want to do, rather than an endless array of things you are dreading having to do. On integrity, there are several reasons why integrity is so important. First, living a life of integrity means that we never have to spend time or energy questioning ourselves. When we listen to our heart and do the right thing, life becomes simple. Our life and our action are open for everyone to see. We don't have to worry about hiding anything. When we have integrity, we gain trust of our leaders, our friends, our colleagues, and our team. We are dependable. And when we hold ourselves accountable for our action, we become role models for others to follow. All of this in turn directly impacts our success in life. People who live and work with integrity are more likely to be considered for promotion. Why? Because integrity is a hallmark of ethical leadership. Organizations want leaders that they can trust. And when we demonstrate integrity, we show everyone we can be trusted. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sure you grab one or two things from what I've said earlier. See you next time on Be Inspired with me, Olabode, and have a great one. Bye.